Today, I have the pleasure, the honor, the. Wait, hold on. I got this. Oh. The privilege to present to you one of the greatest games mankind has ever been bestowed upon. If I were a religious man, I'd say this game was bestowed by God Himself, blessed on our mortal realm. The people who made this game might as well be Shakespeare for game development. For today, we're going to be looking at. Yeah, okay, I may be joking a little. This game is far too simple for that. But with the game having over 100,000 people playing it constantly, you'd think otherwise, right? Hello, welcome to the start of a new series. This is my first time doing something like this, so after the video's over, tell me if you enjoy watching content like this. This series will be called Battlegrounds Reviews, and yeah, I'll come up with a better name later on. In this series, we're going to be reviewing all the various Battlegrounds games on Roblox, and if you played Roblox for a good amount of time recently, then you know that there's a lot, and I mean a lot of Battlegrounds games, ranging from every anime out there, to cartoons, to shows, to whatever. Hell, I bet I could make a Battlegrounds game about Thomas the Train. That's just how many there are. However, in reality, none of them are quote-unquote good. Whether it be lacking content, a really boring combat system, the absolute infestation of sweaty people and toxic players, and so much more. But I'm out on a journey to review them all, and today we're here to review Saitama Battlegrounds, or as it's known now, the Strongest Battlegrounds. I'll be dividing these review episodes into multiple sections, some examples being combat, content, or continuity, and finally a conclusion to wrap it up, giving my final thoughts on this so-called game. Let's be honest, these are the reason why Roblox changed them to experiences and not games. But that's for later. Let's get into it. Now, this section is going to be virtually the same from here on out when it comes to each video, because realistically, the combat for these games, they don't really change that much. But that's a complaint for the conclusion, so I'll save those types of comments for later. The combat in this game is pretty simple. You have 4 M1s that all combo into each other and have stun, with the last M1 being a knockback that ragdolls people and knocks them away. This leads to pretty basic combat with pretty standard combos, since all you have to really do is, well, hit them once with an M1, do a move, boom, you have a combo. Nothing really special. However, there is another thing that I should mention that will also be a staple for almost all these videos from here on out, and it is the down slamming and the up tilts. Yes, these are the things in the combat system that give the game a unique touch. Now I bet you're wondering why I say it like that. Well, in all actuality, these up tilts and down slams don't add a whole lot to combos and such. Unless you are a very few specific set of moves, or that one moveset that I am using right now. Yes, I'm not really good at making points for myself, aren't I? I'm sure people are going to be using that against me, saying stuff like, oh hey, what about the moveset you're using right now? That is just one moveset, I do not want to hear it. Because let me tell you something, they are not all like that. I'm getting off track though. What I'm trying to say is they're basically just there to make the combos look cooler or add the tiniest extra bit of damage. Oh, but wait. You can convince people when they block by doing a down slam this by passing their block. Wow, how exciting. This doesn't even matter that much because, once again, only if you use those very few moves, or the moves that I'm using right now, you won't even be able to capitalize on the mix-up, making it still kinda pointless. What this all translates to is people running around each other for 5 years and fishing for M1s until someone eventually lands it. Oh, but wait, how could I forget about the ultimates? Believe it or not, the ultimates in this game is where I feel like the game actually starts to shine. In PvP, it's obviously extremely busted and overpowered, and you basically just win if you get it unless you use your ultimate as well. Whether it be one-shot moves, or counters, or ultimate moves that combo into each other, doing boatloads of damage. Yes, ultimate moves that combo into each other that do half your health a move. 2 moves, that's all you need. Again, getting ahead of myself though. Or moves that make you fast as Sonic the Hedgehog on methamphetamine. It's not balanced whatsoever. But that's talking from a PvP perspective. Talking from just a casual perspective, this is where the game gets fun. Because you get to just go around killing everyone with big AoE moves that do so much damage, one-shot counters, and other moves of the such. Sometimes you just can't beat the feeling of being able to solo the entire server with just one click of a button. It adds a lot of shine to an otherwise dry and dull server. Not to mention, the ultimate moves almost always look great, so on top of being able to beat everyone up, you can also look cool while doing it. But this is the PvP section, so it's not balanced whatsoever. Having ultimates in a PvP game mode is insane, considering just what they can do. If you do not have an ultimate while fighting someone in PvP and they use their ultimate, you lose. Bye. Have fun. It's that simple. And you lose especially hard if they have movement type moves that boost them forward. Then you're just ultra screwed. Overall, I'll rate the combat for this game a 2 out of 10. It's boring, uninspiring, and can lead to very sweaty and unfun fights with people. The only reason why it gets 2 points instead of 0 because the ultimates in this game are very fun to use. But that's it. That's you get your brownie points. That's about it. Anywho, though, on to the next section. This section will probably be a lot shorter than the others simply because I don't have a whole lot to say about this section. The community in this game is filled with sweatlords and people who are out for kills. And I can't say I really blame them. There's not a whole lot to do in this game, but that's for the next section, so I will shut up until then. The community is basically just a hive mind of 2 things. Count it 2. People killing each other or just goofing around. I have not seen anything different, and I have played this game for an amount of time that I do not like to admit. And normally that would be fine if there were other community traits aside from those, but we're talking about a Battlegrounds game. So that does not exist. When you enter the game, you can bet your ass you'll either be killed frame 1, find people demoting in a corner of the map, or the sweatiest, and I mean the sweatiest of lords who make this their life. It's basically gambling on what kind of crap you're gonna get. Like I said, the community for these games are mostly the same. I haven't seen a single one that's not this bipolar or boring. Besides, the community for this game is not single-player friendly either. In my experience, you need friends to have a remotely good time. And even then, that's stretching the meaning of good time, with those in quotes, because if you go to fight people with your friends, most likely a war will break out and it'll just turn into sweaty, toxic, and unfun. Because little kids are going to try to start throwing insults, emoting, and it's just not fun. Now, if you have fun with that, that's just great, but that is not my idea of fun. Even in the footage you're seeing now, I didn't really enjoy playing the game, and, well, interacting is a strong word with these people. At least not like I used to. I used to have a different opinion and think it was misunderstood. But I got old, and my brain did get just a tiny bit bigger. Emphasis on tiny. And after seeing so many of these Battlegrounds games, these are just slop. I'm getting ahead of myself, though, because I can go on that for hours. As for closing thoughts, what I'm trying to say for this part is that the community is just toxic and unfun. You're not going to make friends here, that's for sure. You can't really be social either, since you're just going to be beating the piss out of each other. So it's just a slugfest. A slugfest with everyone either killing each other, because what else are you going to do? Or friend groups sitting on corners of the map having fun. And if you try to go up to them, you'll most likely die. Yeah, it's boring. I give it a 1 out of 10 on the community. The only reason it gets a 1 is because I understand why the community sucks. There's nothing to do here. It might as well be a desert. Oh, and don't worry, I'll get to that right now. Alright, finally, on to the content section. Thank God. Maybe there'll be some saving grace here, maybe there'll be some content to make this into, a game and something good. Well, in any case, let's see what I got in my notes here. What? What? No, no. That can't be right. That can't be right. There's got to be something here. Maybe I just pushed it down by mistake. Silly me. We all make mistakes. I probably just pushed it down. Sorry. Here, let's see what we actually got. Oh, I get it now.
Motherfuck. Now, this might be a surprise, but all the footage running in the background is actually of me playing the exact same game mode over and over and over again. I know, surprising, right? With how much stuff there's to do in this game, it's not really surprising. Alright, no more bit. But yeah, as you can see by the background footage and the fact I'm doing literally the same thing throughout the entirety of the video, I'm sure you can put 2 plus 2 together and it equals 4 to come to the conclusion that this game is Albuquerque, New Mexico. Dry, deserted, and the only way you'll be having fun is if you pull up in an RV to the server and start selling some illegal items. All jokes aside though, there's quite literally nothing to do here. You got a main game here, that's about as boring as the background footage looks. Bosses used to spawn in the main game, and that was kind of fun, but that's gone now, so I guess we can't have fun. What else? There's 1v1s and 2v2s, and that's it. Yeah. There's nothing. There's nothing here. So yeah, there's nothing here. Big surprise, am I right? Now, this is bad for a lot of reasons. The first one relates back to the community section we just talked about. You give people nothing to do, then they're gonna be bored. And when you realize you're bored, you're usually annoyed. Now, what am I saying? Now, hear me out, because I'm Vsauce. If you leave a bunch of people on the server who are annoyed, it'll become an extremely toxic environment. Surprising, right? Especially people who want to cling on to this game and got nothing else to do in their life. Or people who just genuinely enjoy the game for what little it has. Now, the second reason is much more obvious in that this makes the game extremely boring. Now listen, if you guys can go around beating up people for an hour or emoting in a corner for an hour, then more power to you. But me personally, I can't handle that brain meltdown level of monotony. It will make me beyond brain dead, along with making me, just generally unhappy. Again, that's not everyone. However, I don't think it's crazy to say that doing the same objectively boring thing for an hour, without anything new to do, will make your brain implode on itself. And the last big reason is that this is awful for first impressions. Now, granted, there's not a lot going for this game. I hesitate to call it a game as it is, but you gotta realize this. This is supposed to be one of the good Battlegrounds games. Good. Yeah, good. This'll ruin the first impressions of the game, for anyone who has standards at least, and just make them not want to play it. How negative I've been to this game, you'd think that's a good thing, but actually, wait, you're right. This is a good thing, because these games are slop, and a whole load of nothing in my opinion. These are the games that make people dumber. Like, genuinely stupid. This game is so boring that if I was younger and back in school, I'd want to do my homework over this. Because at least I know I could do something a little more creative than doing the same boring baby combos in this game over and over again until I pass out from just how rotted my brain is. Oof. Sorry, my bad. Got a little carried away. Maybe I'm the baby for having a mini crash out over a kid's game. But that's enough of my rambling. On to the conclusion. Not game out of 10. Should be game here, but there is no game here. Couldn't find game if I even tried. So yeah, I don't have to be the one to tell you that this game is bad. I can't really call this a game either, which is probably why Roblox games even got switched to experiences in the first place, but that's just me. And don't worry, this will be a trend with all these Battlegrounds games. That in air quotes. Overall, this game is uninspiring slop. I'll give it a little of leeway since it was the first of its kind, at least as far as I remember. However, that does not excuse any of the garbage I just listed. From the PvP being really boring and uninspiring, only being fun when you get to the ultimate, which is a drawn-out way of saying 75% of the PvP is boring, while 25% of it is kind of fun. It makes me want to cry seeing what kind of combat systems can be cooked up when it comes to Roblox games. And then seeing this. It makes me sad as someone who absolutely adores fighting games. And as I previously stated, the community is a mess, but I don't blame the people for it being a mess. I blame the developers for how boring the content in this goddamn game is. Because trust me, it really rubs off on the people. I would be toxic as well knowing all I could do is some subpar moves for 10 minutes straight, and then have an ultimate for about 1 minute while having maybe a teensy bit of fun. And then it gets taken away after a short period of time. Yippee. How fun. Now, I'm sure these opinions aren't anything new, but from what I've seen on YouTube, nobody talks about how garbage this is. And it's pretty obvious why Roblox standards are below garbage. Roblox standards are the hole ripped at the bottom of the trash can, infested with rats as they try to scrape the bottom for anything good to eat. That's how bad standards are when it comes to Roblox. And with all the garbage going about, I can hardly blame them. I feel sometimes my standards slip when it comes to Roblox games as well. With how few good games there are on Roblox in contrast to the millions on millions bouts of garbage games, well, it just makes me sad. That's why I'm starting this whole series, because I love fighting games. And what's the biggest slop that I could think that's being made on Roblox? Battlegrounds games. That's why I'm doing this, to expose all the garbage and repeated slop going around trying to rebrand themselves as a good game or something new, when it mostly never is. If the Battlegrounds become too samey though, I'll probably just stop, because I don't want to just serve the same video over and over again with a different title slapped on it, because guess what? That's what the Battlegrounds games do. However, if I do continue, then I can't wait to make more, because being able to say all this was pretty fun. Hell, I'm probably going to look back at all this anyways and laugh at myself crashing out. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, if anyone did. I really appreciate it. If this is the best this genre has to offer, oh boy, we're doomed. Yeah, imagine trying to make friends here. Oh, hi there. You want to be friends?